Slip discs or herniated disc? What's the difference?
Find out next on the 50 Shades of Pain show.
Hi, welcome to the 50 Shades of Pain show, where we empower our community by giving you knowledge about pain, both physical and mental, so that you have the tools that you need for optimal health. I'm Dr. Danish. I'm the medical director of Wellward Medical here in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. James Escaloni. And today we're talking about discs. There's a very common expression called a slip disc. What's a slip disc, James?
It's a made-up term that doesn't exist.
It's like you call it a hockey puck?
Yeah. So you're not going to bend over and your disc in your back is going to slip out and hit the person behind you like a hockey puck. I mean, I've tried it. It doesn't happen, all right? But however, herniated discs, that's a real term. And let's teach you a little bit about that.
So generally speaking, a disc you can think of as, people often say it's like a jelly donut, but really I think of it more like a tire, because it has a very thick outer rim of essentially dead tissue, which is just kind of collagen and various proteins and water. But then on the inside is where all the life takes place. The jelly of the jelly donut is essentially a cluster of live cells that are constantly putting out more and more collagen matrix that makes up that tire ring. So a slip disc makes it sound like this entire structure can just slip away and shoot out to one side or another. But oftentimes it's just a common term for a disc that has either a bulge or a herniation to it. And those can be a source of pain, but not always.
Mm-hmm. Now, an important thing that we want to emphasize is that when you have a disc that's bulged, you don't have a disc that's like a jelly donut exactly, because it's not so delicate like a jelly donut. It's a lot more like the tire. I really want to emphasize that for you guys at home. Tires are thick and resilient, and you could drive hundreds of thousands of miles on them. Jelly donuts are only good for filling my belly.
Yeah, I often hear patients talk about how they were diagnosed with degenerative disc disease, or they've got a bulge or a herniation. Well, first of all, most people will have a bulge at some point in their life. That's just kind of the same as how our face changes as we age. We just get wrinkles, we get our skin gets a little bit looser, so it's almost an inevitability, but it's not necessarily something that's problematic. It's as much as it is just a sign of aging.
Mm-hmm.
But a herniated disc can be problematic, because that's often, if you were to compress that tire and then there's a part of the tire that has lost its strength and its integrity. Well, if you squeeze a water balloon that has one area that's weaker than the rest, it's going to have an area that kind of bulges or herniates out. And if that herniation is smack dab on top of the nerve, then yes, you can have a nerve that's being affected by that disc. But that's not always the case with herniated discs. Oftentimes, it's more an indication of the structures around that disc have lost their stability or lost their strength. And so there's now an excessive amount of stress or shear stress on that disc, causing one area to get weak, and then the pressure bulges out at that area. So fixing that disc is only fixing part of the problem. You're not addressing the other complex interweaving of structures around that disc. That's where exercises and some of the therapies that we provide can do a lot, and even prevent the need for having surgery.
So if you at home are having a herniated disc, here's a little pro tip for you. There's a simple exercise that looks like a yoga pose, like an upward facing dog. That's a nice one that can be helpful for people who have disc-related low back pain. And then after that's under control, some of the best things you can do is build the resilience of the spine by building a nice layer of armor through your muscles, through your abdominals and lower back. That can decrease the amount of shear force because your strong muscles are taking that up.
Well, let me add one more thing. A lot of patients will come in and say, "Doc, I've hurt my back, I've injured my disc. How are you expecting me to do these exercises? Am I not going to push that disc out further or damage myself even more with exercise?" What would you say to that?
I would say that if you've got a good person giving you some guidance on the exercise, then you should be okay, because you just might have slept a little bit funny. You might have turned something a little bit funny. But remember, these tissues are super resilient. How easy is it to damage a car with a small hammer. I'm sorry, the tire of the car. All right, just hammering against that. I mean, you may get some scuffs on it, but it takes a lot to really damage it. And if you just kind of twist it a little bit funny, it hurts more that day and the next day. The likelihood of you taking that injury to the cusp that you absolutely need surgery from that, very low.
And I always tell people we're built differently than our cars are. I mean, if you were to clip a branch off of one of these beautiful spring trees, what's going to happen? The tree doesn't die. It grows branches around the area that was clipped. Our bodies are the same way. It's resilient. And the way we stress the body, we're training it to get stronger. It's just a matter of doing those stresses in small increments and allowing for enough rest with proper nutrition and proper hydration, proper sleep, just taking good care of your body. And it's going to continue to grow and evolve in the direction of the stresses that we place on it. So if you have a herniated or bulging or quote unquote a slipped disc, it doesn't mean it's the end of the road and there's no other solution but surgery. It just means that there's an area of weakness in your body that we now need to build on and strengthen and create enough support structures around it so it can actually function and reduce the herniation or bulge that's there while making everything more resilient and strong.
So let's say you've got a person, they're exercising right, they're doing all the right things, but they're still having some pain and they want to avoid surgery. What's something unique that we could provide for them at Wellward that they can't get at other places?
There's a lot that we do. So that whole concept of strengthening all the structures around the disc and then addressing the functional stability of that disc comes through exercise first and foremost. But if that's not enough, or if we want to accelerate the process, we can use some of our orthobiologics or regenerative methods to inject products like prolotherapy or PRP, which is blood-derived growth factors, or even do a bone marrow aspirate where we're harvesting very potent cells that stimulate repair and putting them back into those areas that need it the most. That method can accelerate the body's ability to repair in much greater fashion than what your body can do on its own. Whenever we do these tissue harvests and re-injections, essentially we're taking all of the things that your body normally uses to get stronger or to stimulate repair, and we're concentrating it about 10 to 14 times what your body can do on its own, putting it directly in the spot that needs it the most. That way, directing all of your body's attention to where the areas of greatest weakness are to bring those up to the strength and stamina of everything around it. And then exercise does a whole lot more because you have a lot more capacity and ability.
Mm-hmm. So guys, I'm hoping that you know a little bit more about a herniated disc after this talk today. You know that it's not fragile, it's not slipping out, and it's a pretty strong thing, but they still can get injured. You got a couple pro tips on how to keep yourself healthy, some exercise, and also some things that might be able to help if that's not enough for you, for what we can do for you at Wellward. Okay.
If you found this useful, please comment, please give us feedback so that we know what you're looking for and we can educate the public in a better way. Join us on our weekly video casts on YouTube, on Facebook.
Yeah, we've got some shows on Apple, iHeartRadio, and more that you can listen to.
Podcast now too, yeah.
It's pretty good.
I'm Dr. Danish.
And I'm Dr. Escaloni.
We will see you next time.
Thank you.